SBR GT3 Championship. So we're going to get to watch here at St. Croix, or hold on, how are you supposed to say it? Because I say it wrong. St. Croix, at St. Croix, layout A you see here. We'll just try not to say the track's name too often, then we won't have to worry about how I say it. So it's a pretty fun track. We've got a lot of very quick drivers, as we see 305s. Pretty much across the board. I don't have any gaps to see yet, so that's going to be interesting. We see a mix of cars between the Lexus. Oh, it's not letting me change camera angles. Between the Lexus, I've seen the NSX. What else do we have? The Porsche. The GTR. The GTR is a fun car at this track. Lexus is pretty much always strong. It's a second... It's always going to be better usually later in the stint, so it's going to be interesting to see how qualifying goes for people in the cars like the Lexus. Qualifying should be getting started here in 4 minutes, so we'll just kind of look at St. Croix. I'm not going to say the track's name, St. Croix, so I say it wrong. So if I say St. Croix, it's St. Croix. Okay, so it's St. Croix. Kind of watch Piper as he gets started out to kind of get a layout of the track. This first corner is extremely quick. You're going to try to hold as much speed as possible as you go through it. True for most of the corners around here. The second corner isn't much. It's going to be flat out into one of the slower sections, but again, it's still going to be fast as you're going to try to maintain as much speed as possible going through. This corner is deceptively slow, actually. I ran this track earlier, and it caught me off a few times as you kind of like really push the whole track and try to keep your speed up. This whole section, it reminds most anyone of probably Monza. It's a lot like the Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2. You're pretty quick out of both of them, really kind of maintaining your speed through the whole section. It's going to be interesting to see how people run this, because when I was running it, it really felt like you could pretty much go any line you wanted. But man, you really wanted to be on the main line. Anything off the main line just felt like you just could see the tenths of a second shredding away as you were just missing the racing line. So it's going to be interesting to see how much people want to go side by side. I definitely expect people to probably try to find a partner in qualifying. There's a lot of decent areas to slipstream on, but compared to some of the other layouts at St. Croix, we're going to see... you know, it's hard to say. I don't think slip is nearly as important at a layout like this as it is somewhere else, because the dirty air will mess you up, where like a B reverse or B in general is pretty much just a huge slipstream track. So it's going to be interesting to see how everyone's times come out and whether they do try to find anyone to give them any kind of tow on the, I believe it's an 8-minute qualifying, so... And then the qualifying should be getting started here in the next 2 or 3 minutes, as we're just kind of watching Edwards and Green. For the most part, I got a list of everybody's names, but if anyone's ever heard one of these before, you know I don't have it with me at this moment. So I know almost everyone's names. If you're brand new, like Ryle will probably be called Ryle, which is probably incorrect. But for the most part, I think I know everyone's name. Rossi will be Rossi. That's an awesome name. I like Rossi. You're definitely, I'm a fan already. And then, yeah, we got Piper. We're always seeing Piper battling. And this is Crip, so that's Callum. Rob Garut, who is quite quick at the endurance. We were watching him having a great race. Graham. Can't even see what car Liam's in. I wish I was skilled on. It looks like a BMW, though, so we'll just say he's in that. Rob, looking clean in the GTR. Graham looking ghosted in the... Wait, is he in the Viper? Why won't it let me switch camera angles? That's going to get annoying fast. Rob, you rocking... Oh, wait, who are we just looking at that's in the Viper? Graham. Ooh. Well, we all know who I'm a fan of now. The M6, but you gotta love... Oh, I love the Viper. The Viper is quite a fun car to drive, so that is going to be fun to watch. I pretty much understeer into every... Yeah, I do this. This is me in the Viper, 100%. So that's why I don't personally drive it, but I do love the car. So that'll be interesting to see how Graham does in the Viper. I know I have a few buddies who are really quick in it, and it makes me very jealous of them. And I would think if I read the message that was typed, I would know what's going on starting soon. Okay. So yeah, qualifying will get going soon as we will kind of watch everyone go through and get a better understanding of the track as we get ready for this to get going. I'm excited to see, I know Green, if I remember correctly, has won last season, so he's the current reigning champion, so it'll be exciting to watch and see how he does trying to defend that. We also have Liam, who's a two-time champion here, winning in Season 2 and Season 8. And 100%, I apologize to someone who I'm forgetting who is also in the field who has won a championship before. But when I figure that out, which will probably be next week, I will give them an extra shout out. Hopefully I remember it as we go through. But we should be getting qualifying going any minute now. Ooh, and Aston too. This is what I'm thinking about driving around St. Croix this weekend. So we'll have to see how the Aston treats him here as well. It is a very stable, very strong car in the, like currently. It just really kind of works in most tracks. Has a little bit of understeer, but you know, it's fast. It is very fast. Uses up its fuel pretty well though, so that'll be interesting to see as well. This might actually be the qualifying. So since they're parking at the side, we should probably pay more attention. It looked like it had a qualifier actually set for it, so I think they should be going into qualifier, but if not, we'll go through the qualifying order as we watch everyone coming around. But it does look like everyone's kind of starting to finish. We do have people still sitting in the pits, so looks like Piper's going to start on the hards, as they do have to run a hard tire for 25% of the race, which comes up to 25% rounded down. So I believe it's 3 laps. But if you want to start on a hard, you have to qualify on a hard. So it looks like maybe Piper's about the only person who's going to try that strategy out, just getting the hards out of the way. It'll be interesting. It'll start him at the back. There's nothing you can do qualifying against a soft outside of someone just really messing up their qualifying runs. There's nothing you can do about that. But it will give him fresh air, so he won't really have to battle anyone. Everybody has to run a hard anyway, so he does get the cleanest track to drive on, as we see. Everyone just kind of waiting for it to get started, it looks like. The Lexus will be interesting. The Lexus isn't always a good car, though, so it's pretty well rounded. Anytime you get into any kind of races that have rain or really long stints, like if you ever do an enduro, Lexus is a solid choice. It gets just better and better and better as that fuel comes down and down and down. It never really gets to a point where you ever feel like your tires are just costing you everything usually over a stint. So the Lexus is going to be real interesting to see how it works out. I'm a big fan of it as well. I can't drive the Porsche. Everyone says it's a beginner-friendly car and that you should tell all your friends to drive it first because it's really forgiving. And then the only thing that happens to me when I drive it as I spin is we see them coming onto this bridge, which is an interesting corner. There is a little bump there that is going to be not fun to take. It forces you to oversteer off the track a little bit, which is fine if you're on the line. But if you're like battling side by side with someone, that could get real dangerous right through there. As we'll have to see how to take this, as it is very slow, because I hit that wall on all my practice laps, so I was going way too hot through there. As we see John all over Ross. Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see if people try to go side by side through these corners and how much they battle. Or I think, you know, if you know your paces of everyone, you can just kind of run your race. You don't necessarily have to battle every corner, but at the same time, you can't just let someone in front of you just continue to get further and further away while you follow someone else who's slowing you down. The Aston's going to be a great car. Is this the McLaren? Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Yep, you can always confirm. But crazy one. That is... I have not driven the McLaren in a while. It is an interesting car. It's very fast. I just rarely see them in GT3 championships, I guess, and I can't wait to see it drive. And the qualifier started, so yeah, I was like, man, I really hope I wasn't just talking over the qualifier the whole time. But yeah, we're gonna get to see. Obviously, some times posted that we've seen, but these are just the times I've seen over the last few minutes, so those aren't even real at all. All right, so we've got Piper starting on the hards. Ben is also electing for some hards as we hear everyone revving to try to get out as quick as possible. I didn't see anyone else start. Oh, yep, just Piper and Ben it looks like. So they'll probably be, you know, just kind of qualifying against each other. Oh, Conrad is also starting on the hards, so that might be beneficial. The three of them stay out of each other's way and just kind of like race for the long race. You know, some people play chess, some people play checkers. I typically just play checkers and battle for every corner and see where that ends up. Now, they'll have it timed out and figured out. I wonder exactly how. We're not seeing anyone really fuel burning. 8 minutes might not be long enough. I wonder how many laps you can get. Probably just 2, right? If it's about a little over a 3-minute lap, you can get 3 total in 8 minutes because it'll be 9 minutes. You won't be able to cross again. Yeah, but you got like a minute to burn, so you could try to burn off a little bit extra fuel. See how that works out. As we see everyone going through, looks like they're keeping pretty close. They're not trying to separate from each other, so could be a little bit of mayhem during qualifying. I wonder if they're going to start slowing down, speeding up, and kind of get in their own areas, or if they're trying to set each other up just for a whole bunch of drafting right here. So hey, what is up, viewers and Rascal chatting? Awesome. Don't see anyone really burning though. That's interesting. I would think at least on the straights people would be revving out 5th or anything really. Couple people kind of, but not really. Everyone just kind of falling in line. It is a long, I mean, that is a long outlap. They're 2 minutes into their outlap. Like, could you imagine looking at your qualifier? You've already finished off 2 minutes of it and you still have like 2 more full sections to go through. Yeah, so it's going to be tight. I bet they get 2 laps. The tires aren't great. I wonder if they even get 2. I wonder if they just straight come. Like, I don't know. As we're going to see as they come around, I bet they just run the 2 laps. Maybe even just put down 1 hot lap. The tires are looking pretty good for an outlap, so I don't think they're going to have to worry too much. I think they can get 2 solid laps in as we see them coming across the bridge. It looks so cool. But they have a huge terrain here. Like, I mean, you can see the potential here of getting double, triple, quadruple slipped down any kind of straights or anything like that. But there's a lot of potential to get slowed down, get battled. I don't know where you'd want to try to set yourself up in this group, as no one seems to be slowing down. It seems like they're almost on a qualifying pace already. So obviously they know the qualifying time's tight and they're barely going to get those 2 laps in. So and so everyone's going to have to start on these softs, or at least they can't start on hards. They have to run those hards for the 25%, and the only way you can start on them is if you qualify on them. So we get to see this whole terrain, as we do have, you know, I'm going to say that, you know, Cripps and Graham have done a good job of getting their own areas. We'll see how this terrain of just mess works out for this qualifying, but this, I mean, yeah, they have kind of separated into little groups of 3, it looks like, so that's maybe beneficial, but you want to be real careful because your lap could get ruined real quick if someone in front of you makes a mistake into someone else. But right now they are, oh, as we see Rob going a little wide, John also pulling a little wide. His group looked like he just got around that pretty quick, so that might have worked out for him, as now he's pulling everybody else. That's usually not where you want to be as a Porsche, especially with a GTR behind you. It'd be nice to have a GTR pulling you. Oh, everyone everyone seems to be keeping it clean as they are flying down one of the straights they have. It's not real long as they come into this real quick right-hander. As we see, oh, John is all over the back. It's almost like they're racing on this call. I mean, it's what happens. Like, you guys got grouped up, and so now you're basically racing for qualifying. Good news about that is anybody who you pass, you have set a better lap than. That's always good. Is Liam also going by? Oh, looking at it, driving that BMW. As this is probably the longest straight, and this left-handed little kink they have at the end of it is very deceiving. It's very quick. You have a lot of grip, so I could definitely see a difference in people being how they can take this little section. As we see them very close going through it. Just, whoo. I mean, if you're not getting slowed down, that's a great place to be, but if you're having to lift extra and you'd be going even faster, it could be interesting to see where Liam's going to come out as they're starting to come around towards the end. We've got Graham and Cripps are going down the straight that they're heading onto right now, so they're coming up, and we'll see if any, you can see every car just bouncing a little bit over those bumps down on the bridge. And this is a very tough turn, so I do not envy anyone having to go side by side or anything through here, especially on a qualifying lap. Oh, as Liam kind of glances inside. I think he may have just been doing that to make sure he didn't hit him, just turn in a little early, shave that speed a little bit, but it's going to cost you on your qualifying lap. You see Rob being chased down by Ryle. Alright, so Cripps is coming around to the final corner with Graham, so we'll see what kind of time he can put down to set the absolute leaderboard in that Lexus as he hit that pretty clean. It looked like he was going to run wide, but oh, nope, he's good behind him as well. Graham went a little wide, but he caught it. 303 is pretty quick. Graham with the 304, so still sitting on pole. Groot was quick when I saw him in practice. Gonna get anywhere near the 303s. Oh, Liam with a 303.4 and Ryle with a 302.9. Piper 307, Edwards hitting a 303, Joker hitting a 303. A 302. Oh, God. It's not Piper because that's Austin with a 302 sitting on provisional pole. Flying around. I mean, that's BMW racing right there. Really getting the maximum out of that BMW. Setting a set... Wait, oh, 25. I thought it said it's... So, I mean, just setting a time is 7/10 faster than the next closest person. That is a lap. So if he has that as pace, that's really setting a standard right off the back that everyone's going to have to keep up with that, because that is going to yank out a slipstream fast. As they are what's going to be their final lap. So everyone on the final lap right now, and this is where in qualifying you can kind of start to see the numbers ahead of you and realize, like, whoa, move out of my way. If you're on a hot lap, as Ryle still probably would want to close that 7/10 second gap, even if you're not going to gain a position. Like, you never want to have a 7/10 between you and the person right in front of you. So he's definitely going to be pushing for that. As looks like a few people have said their laps are good enough, which, yeah, I'd say anything in the threes is probably going to come out good enough. Joker in that GTR right on the back of Piper. Looks like that's John going, I think it's John going way up the inside, so he must have made a mistake and just backed out of his lap completely, as Joker is on a mission to move up right here. He's closed that gap up a little bit on Piper. We know Piper's quick, so, and Joker with a 033. I mean, he knows he's got a little bit of work to do to catch up with Austin there at the very top, as, ooh, Piper gets that little squirrely going wide. They still have a little bit to go before the end of this lap, so you got to really just kind of stay focused. That, oh, I bet that bump isn't super fun in the GTR. It's already a happy car. Like, it loves to get going, but it can get a little squirrely when it does that. It's worse than if they're going to do better times. Their tires are already looking to get a little bit worn. So Ryle's tires aren't looking too bad in that Aston. I guess that's just going to be kind of the nature of running a GTR. Looks like getting a little bit more wear on the back in the Aston than the front, so that would get a little bit worrisome late in the stint, but he might adjust his brake bias. This might just be a brake bias for the qualifying. This Joker Man is all over the back of Piper, probably just like, get out of the way, I'm on a lap. We don't actually know that, but he might be. He probably is. They've been flying around this as he's getting yanked down that back strip. Whew. Going into the corner at over 155, that's got to be quick. Whoa. Man, that's racing on a qualifying. That's probably going to cancel that lap out, take any chance it had of getting better. Yeah, 306. So that's going to be the end of qualifying. Oh, green, I apologize. I was just about to switch back because we have a few more coming around right now. Wherever they are on this board. Here we go. No. Oh, it's the whole group of people who have been racing for qualifying. Anyone going to improve their lap here? Nope. Milden goes better. Rossi goes better. But still setting towards the back since he's on the hard. So we got a better lap. It's going to qualify him at the top of... well, it's going to qualify him ahead of all the people on the hards and ahead of one person on softs. So I'm sure he's not going to be upset about qualifying ahead of someone on softs. The goal is just to qualify ahead of everyone on your tire. But, yeah, so we've got Green qualifying a second and a half faster than Austin, who's in second with a 3:02.2 with a 7/10 second gap to Ryle in that Lexus, followed by Edwards in the Honda and SX, and Joker Man getting a solid fourth and the tightest of gaps between fourth and sixth, with Liam right behind him in his BMW. With Callum in the Lexus in seventh, Graham in eighth. Edwards Jean coming up in ninth, 4 seconds back of the lead. Groot, which is Rob in 10th, also in the 4-second range. Rob right behind that, although these are very short gaps between each of these players right here. So, Rob in 11th, Ben leading the hard drivers in 12th, Rossi on the softs in 13th, Piper 14th, and Conrad coming up the back of 15th. But Piper, Conrad, and Milden all started hard, so they were expected to start at the back. That hasn't really set any strategy or anything other than falling pretty much where Ben wants that to fall. You know, getting in the front. And I think the hards probably don't really care where they set up. Their goal is definitely get some clean racing, not have to battle anybody, and try to get their strategy to win the race. Let everybody else wreck everybody else around here. As there we can see the leaderboards, the starting order for everyone, as we have Green starting in first as we wait for the lights to go out. As the lights are on, 3, 4 lights, 5 lights, revving it out, and they're off. Real quick so I can change camera angles. Yep. And how wide are they all going to battle into the first turn? 7 wide, 8 wide. Oh, is light bumping right? It looked like little. I mean, that is wide. That's just wide. I have no idea how wide, but that was very wide. As everyone's trying to battle for position right now, as we see everyone going up the inside, just neck and neck, keeping it tight. As the leaders are starting a single file. Further back, they're still staying side by side. As we see John trying to make a move, or Groot. That's not John. That's Groot. Someone's off way in the back. So they're going to have to get going. Hopefully they're on hards, but I don't see any of the hard racers off, so it must have been someone on softs. The original John Ruff, as Rossi's falling back just a little bit as well. That is so tight down there. That's not what I'm going to change it to. There we go. As everybody's starting to line out, we get the very first lap going. We've got Jokerman's falling back just a little bit from that 4th position, all over the back of Ryle, trying to battle up through there, as we see Liam just sitting in there waiting for anything that he can just take advantage of. And the BMW is going to be great here too, just because it doesn't have too many of those corners that really eat it up. It's got a few, but it definitely is going to have any of those just dead stops to dead go again, where you can get all that oversteer and just start spinning your car around. They've started to line up as we see Green coming down, leading this entire pack of cars down the straight. They're going to go really quickly through this first kink through here, as we see them just right front to back, bumper to bumper. And it looks like most everyone's starting to just single file out. Not too many people looking for a move down that straight. Didn't look like anyone made any major mistakes on a breakpoint. No one had any real good runs. Most of the field sitting pretty tight. A little bit of gap, about 10th back it looks. But that's probably just a gap to the hards, and then a few people who have had issues. Ooh, we see a real wide run there. As Green is starting to get a little bit of separation from the field. We see a little bit of run here at the very back. So it's about 9th back that there's a little bit of separation, but that is the hard drivers and the few drivers who've had an issue on the first lap, but everyone else getting through super clean. Liam starting to look for any kind of opportunity to start to catch back up to Joker, as Joker started to separate from him, but he's kind of right on the back of this Aston Martin of Ryle, who's right on the back of Cripps, as Cripps is looking to make a move up past Austin, who's fallen back as well from second. And Cripps gets it taken care of, so he's on into second, looking real good as, Austin's looking like he might want to make the move back. It's tough through those real high-speed corners. You've got to make sure you get plenty of overlap, or they're going to just come down on you. But Green's sitting in a great position. He's already started to separate himself 1.5 seconds out, so he's not pulling anyone with him, where everyone else behind's already starting to make moves, as we've got Austin trying to look up the inside again. It's tough if you don't get enough speed. As Cripps is up on by into third. Edwards chilling in second with some great moves. He's moved up the field while everyone else has had trouble moving back the field. As they are still just all over each other. Even if you've fallen back, you can't feel too bad. You can see exactly where your position was. You can see the leader still. Everyone's just a few seconds back of everything. So everyone's starting to keep it clean, but it is really tight in this second through about 7th, 9th, about 2nd through 8th. Sitting real tight, 9th right on the back of 8th, as we see Graham and that Viper all over the back of Rob in that Porsche. And I would think it would just be tough going through those real high-speed corners with the Viper, but he seems to be just kind of getting it all taken care of and handling it just fine there. Oop, went the wrong way. Is Liam's falling back? He's actually not falling back. He's closed the gap up a little bit as Joker Man makes the move on Ryle, but Ryle's coming right back at him. He's got he couldn't quite keep the outside overlap and almost got pushed off the track, but he gets it back together and he's just right back in the hunt. Meanwhile, Liam's taking that to gain, what, 3/10 of a second, so he's right back in there. They're all going to get pulled down this straight. As once again, Green's not going to pull anyone. He's just going to run his pace out here and see if anyone else can keep up, as we see Cripps and Austin all over each other as he's going to go for the move through his oh, that is just... Yeah, I mean, I think you just kind of follow through and hope someone makes a mistake that you can just make the run by him on, but he's going to look for it on the inside here for sure. He gets late on the brakes, light contact. Oh, and he's going to run wide. And is Ryle going to take advantage of all this and just go through past both of them? He's looking for a move back through. He's gotten by one. Cripps got the worst of that deal. He couldn't quite get on the throttle coming out of that exit, so when he had to release off the gas, Ryle goes right by. He ends up taking advantage of that and looking for a move. He's already peeking all over the track against him. And it looks like he's going to try to get up into third now as they're going, well, they're in rolling start formation right now behind here. Can't quite get it done. Oh, a little bit of contact, but, oh, they are just all over each other. And I'm sure Austin just looks at that and goes, well, that's fine. Give me this gap. As you're always trying to get outside of that slip range. You need that 7/10, that 9/10, somewhere in there to really start knowing that you're not pulling them anymore. As we see Edwards also doing the same thing, pulling it out, getting on his own thing. As Green also, the reigning champion, just pulling out a 2.5 second gap over 2 laps. I mean, that's 6 minutes in and he's already got a 2 second gap. That is flying to start. As we see everyone else just kind of falling in. They're getting a little bit of gaps. They're not just straight door to doors. We see Liam looking up the outside and getting up past Joker Man. Getting right up behind Cripps. As we'll see if Callum goes defensive. He doesn't. He's... Oh, it looked a lot like Liam wanted to look up the inside there. As we see him in that BMW defending and attacking at the same time through corners. It's always a fun place to be. As the GTR is scary when you start to get on straight speeds. It'll start to close that gap up on you and put a lot of pressure on you real fast. And it's hard to be attacking while you're also trying to make sure this GTR doesn't overtake you. Joker goes a bit wide on that corner, but... Oh, is Liam going to get the move? It's going to be tough because you're going to end up on the outside of the next corner, but I have no idea if you can keep it there. He's going to try. Yeah, he's maybe going for a switchback here. Nope, just slips it right back in. It's not, yeah, it's probably not the best place to go for a pass, as we see everyone coming down the straight. It's a little bit of gaps between this group, but they're all still right on each other. Any mistakes and they'll be caught up in a heartbeat. As we see Ryle all over the back of Austin. He is in that slip range. Liam getting by Cripps. Yep, and he is, oh, nope, other way around. Cripps Racing getting by Liam. So Callum is on a mission there. And he is now 6 seconds back after 3 laps. Is probably not where anyone wants to be, but it's also not in a bad spot either. You've been stuck in the battles, and now you've got in front. Now, can he just get that separation? As you can see, everyone just trying to get some separation between cars. It's the worst feeling in the world is pulling someone along with you, where you're just begging for them to make a mistake. It's the reverse of just begging for someone in front of you to make a mistake, as we do see Liam make the move and get it done quickly and cleanly past Callum there. Joker Man trying to take advantage of it and just come right on in as well, and he does, as Callum Cripps has to back it. Oh, he's going to come right back with the... This is going to work out. I would say you got to be careful here, because if you guys battle too much, he could get separated. Oh, and it's a tough place to battle through there. Taking 2 lines across that bump, like, ugh. Very rough. As we see Green still sitting with a decent lead, Edwards has actually let Austin and Ryle catch back up to him a little bit more. They are almost in that slip range, so I wonder if Ryle's just been aggressive and not passing him, or just kind of been sitting back and letting him gather them all up, as they're starting to close that gap up quite a bit to second place. And the gap to the lead's only at 3 seconds right now, so not too far back there as well, so he might just be in a good position, as Liam's on through with a second gap back to Cripps, who's battling with Joker Man, but it looks like he's gotten clear of him now, as they're starting to get outside of slipstream range as well. So they're about to end up on just like trying to hit their hot laps anymore. You don't have to run with anyone else anymore, as John and Rossi are in a little battle right here with Rob right behind them, as we see Green coming in on his soft tires, as we do see the wear on these softs is getting pretty brutal. As we see yeah, as we see, I believe, oh, Ryle going up past Austin. And that, yeah, right there, that Vantage just getting them by the Aston Martin. And now he's out in the lead, but his tires are looking pretty good. They are looking quite a bit better. Now I'm panicking that his name isn't Austin, but I'm pretty sure it is. And if not, I apologize, but that's what you're going by today. But better than Austin's. And then Liam up into third, as he hasn't hit yet either, but that back right is screaming that it's going to die anytime now. So he is probably going to be coming in any second now. This lap would be my guess, as we do see Edwards going onto the hards. This is going to be interesting, because the people behind him are not on hards. They are on burnt softs, but they have still got to be faster than a hard tire. It's a hard tire. As we see Green back there as well, and he just hit it, and he is on a soft. So Edwards needs to defend his life against these right now, which he is doing as best he can, because if he can keep them back, he is slowing their soft down. Well, who cares? It's your hard stint. They're garbage. So this is working right into his hands. This could be just exactly what he needs. If he can keep him back for even half a lap, that is slowing at least half a lap down. The more and more he can keep him back and race defensive, though, the better this is going to go for them, as they were both up at the top, first and second. So this is how you close that gap back up, as he's not probably going to be able to battle down the straight. It's going to be, the soft is just going to be too fast. But he is trying to keep it in there. I just don't see how you're going to outbrake a soft tire, which he knows he's not going to. Falls in, then, I mean, hey, that was half a lap. So now you have half a lap that you just made up on him, as long as you keep everything under control and get your 3 laps on your hards under control. But the problem is that he's running his hards now, which is going to fall him further back in the field. So when he does come back on the softs, he probably is going to have to work through people who are also themselves running their hards. So keep it together, and he's on his strat so he can get rid of his hard tires and no longer be needing those anymore, so he can just get back onto softs and just run the fastest laps he can. We see Green closing the gap up to Liam. Green has pit, Liam has not pit. So it's going to be interesting to see what the different strats are for their pits and how far they're willing to take these tires. As we see Liam's running consistent lap times. He hasn't lost too much time, even though his tires are screaming. So he is doing quite well with that, where Green, his tires are fabulous right now. He's got pretty low fuel too. He didn't fill up all the way or at all, basically. And so he's getting to run about as fast as this McLaren can possibly run, where that BMW is just screaming. But this is what the BMW does. You know, it's an endurance car, so it knows how to run with some burnt tires. He keeps it side by side, and all right, the tires convinced him to come on in and get rid of them. So Green's going to go ahead and stay in the lead. Well, that's not true, because Ryle's actually in the lead, but Ryle has not come in, and that Vantage's tires are looking good. He's going to be coming in soon, clearly. They aren't looking amazing, but compared to what everybody else's tires are doing, I mean, that's a pretty good stint right there. You can't be upset about that. Even getting a 302 down there. Now, Tokyo Drift, let's relax. But, I mean, you got a 4-second lead here. Your tires are lasting longer than everyone else. You might get to take an extra stint lead. It's going to be interesting to see if Ryle's on a different strat than everyone else, as he is continuing to stay out with a 4-second lead, which is going to get closed down. Very unlikely, unless a mistake is made by Green, that there's any chance that those fresh tires, low fuel, aren't going to catch up to the burnt tires, low fuel. And then we somehow have Edwards just hanging out in third with his hard tires. So he knows that the gaps behind him are going to come down as long as they're on softs, which you can see the gaps kind of consistently looking to come down. But he just gets to kind of run a lap with no one contesting him now, and just kind of see what he can do. It's a hard tire. Sometimes you drive off the track on a hard tire. We all understand that. I'll leave you alone so you can have your hard stint and you don't get messed with anymore. Caster curse. We'll go over here to the BMW, who just saw the gap go from 8 seconds to 5 seconds, and he knows that probably wasn't a tire. So he knows he wants to close that gap down as much as possible because he's not on a hard tire yet. Liam, who is on his hard tire, saying, I'm getting rid of these as soon as possible, has John closing the gap on him behind, who is on a burnt soft, which I'm going to always say is going to be faster than a brand new hard. And then we got Rob. I mean, I said the BMW tires were screaming. That front left tire definitely needs some attention. But he is out, still on soft tires, haven't used his hards yet. As we have Callum, who has actually already pit, so probably not in the best spot ever, having caught up to traffic. But him and Joker Man keeping their battle for 3rd and 4th earlier, and they're just doing it at 8th and 9th right now. They know there's some people ahead of them who still need to pit. There's some people ahead of them on different strats. So they know they're still battling for their positions up near the top. They just need their strats to work out. But they are starting to catch up on the people ahead of them. Now, Joker Man's just going to do everything he can. Ooh, they get way sideways. I was going to say Joker Man needed to keep up with Cripps because he's on the hard, Cripps is on the softs, but Cripps got a little sideways. Joker gets by, and that's going to help out his hard stint already. As we see Ben, who has used his hards, he's going to start climbing. We see a best lap, but that's to be expected now that he's on the soft tires. He should have already gotten rid of his hards at the 3rd lap, which is where the 318 comes from, which means Piper in the exact same boat got rid of his as well. So he's also trying to climb back through the field. Conrad Racing got rid of his on the 3rd as well, so he is on the work through the field as well. Groot, who started on softs, is now on hards, so he has some work ahead of him. Same with Rossi, who is now on hards, and Graham is still on the soft tires, so Graham is going to need to really, get some consistency going with the Viper there to really try to find any way back through that field, as it has been a rough start for him. As we start to see those pits that we were talking about that were ahead of that battle start to come in, as we see Joker Man and Callum coming on by, as Callum's probably going to get this done as quick as possible on Joker, because he should be able to tell he's on like a hard and a soft. It's usually pretty obvious when you're not on the same tire, so he should be able to tell, like, I need to get by him ASAP, because this is not where I want to be. This is the opposite of where I want to be. As he just straight goes for it there. Heck yeah, whatever, he missed the apex, take it and go. Now, that may have been Joker letting him by. He doesn't really want to fight on the hards. That's how you get in accidents. That's how things get real bad real fast. But yeah, I mean, just get that done ASAP. As Ryle, who wasn't first, has come into the pits. We're going to have to see how this works out for him when his last pit happens, because it looks like he's going for, I mean, he's still going for a 2-stop, but a lot of everyone else looks like they're going for 3 and 4, as most people have pit twice already by the 6th lap. Liam on his fresh hards, battling with Ryle right now, though, as he's trying to keep him back. Oh, as he's trying to shut the door. That's a BMW driver. shutting the door on Ryle just any time he can try to gain by defending is kind of working out without going too crazy, because he knows the softs are going to get him, and there they go. And yep, nothing you can do about that anymore. But fantastic job slowing him down, doing what you can, and just trying to keep your pace up. Now it's just all about trying to hold on to slip as long as you can, eke every mile an hour you can out of that, because that is about all you're going to be able to get out of that from here, as there's a decent gap between Ryle and Austin, but that is going to probably come down just a little bit. Plus their strategies are quite a bit different, as we see him at full fuel, so he's definitely trying to go on longer stints and much less fuel with still pretty good soft, so he's definitely not going for as long a stints, or is at least pitted earlier for sure. As we see Liam still hanging on, still staying just inside the slipstream distance, but that is going to go way over here unless a mistake is made, which it's not. So now just like hoping that GT gives him any kind of slip for any reason whatsoever, but that is not how this game works. It cut it off from you. You're now going to be defending yourself against Croix, who is closing that gap down. And on that soft tire, it's going to be interesting to see how this works out for Liam, as he is kind of having to battle a lot more on his hards than like Edwards was. If we remember when Edwards had his hards, he had the one battle, as he is in a battle of his own right now. He had the one battle on his hard tire, and then it was just pretty much a lap, whereas we've seen Liam battling. So is he slowing people down enough to make a difference, or is it just costing him too much time to work back through the field? Is he also go around the outside and gets it done right as they turn in, and got real close to going wide there again. And Edwards with no fuel coming on in. That's a... Oh, switching his tires from the hard tires. So he has now made his hard tire drive, so he doesn't have to worry about those anymore, as Green's tires are... I mean, they just burn so fast, but he is flying in the McLaren, so it doesn't matter if you have bad tire wear. Now, based on his times, he has not run his hard stint yet, so he will be switching onto those at some point. I wonder if he's going to go defensive at the end, or if he's just going to get rid of it and then go on to softs at the very end. There's a little gap between Ryle, who's still out on his stint. We will see Austin come in, so Ryle will pass him through the pits. We'll have to see how their strategies work out, but Liam on a mission, hunting that down as the pit strategies are starting to work out. He's got pretty good hards. How many laps has he done so far on these? Looks like 2, so he's probably coming in the pits here to get rid of these hards. That's going to drop him down a little bit as Croix has closed it up, but Croix also has not run his hard stint, it doesn't appear yet based on the times. So there are a few people, as Joker is on his hard stint right now, probably looking to come in real soon. Ben, who has run his stint, is flying around the track in that Lexus trying to work up through the field. And you know, if he knows there's people ahead of him who haven't used their hards, like in your mind, when you know someone's within, like, I don't know, for me personally, if I know someone's within 10 seconds of me in most stints, it's like, I can make that up if they're on a different tire. Like, you get kind of aggressive when you know you've got the tire advantage, and now that he doesn't have those hards anymore, it'll be nice to see how much of that 33 seconds, how far up that, you know, leaderboard he'll be able to make his way, as we see Jokerman getting battled hard by Edwards. Edwards coming on by him, but Joker is on those hards, not putting up too much of a fight. That GTR's got so much straight line speed, he's going to be able to take him into this corner probably. Oh, as Edwards just gets it done. That NSX is quick too. I spin it a lot, but it is a quick car. As he's got his flashers on, just letting him know, emergency, I'm coming through. As we see Croix caught up to Liam. So, but Liam is just about to end, if we recall correctly, his hard stint. So he doesn't have to defend if he even wants to defend for very long, as Ryle also trying to close the gap down, but it is pretty far, and I think he knows his gap is more based on the pit timing windows, so he's probably in a fine position, whereas Green is sitting very comfortably right now, as he is, well, he's clearly going to be coming in this lap to get it, well, we'll see if he goes on to hards. If he goes on to hards, he's getting rid of them, and he'll just be on softs after that, and then it'll be what, you know, it'll be where he falls out after that. But if he comes in and gets softs, then that means he's going to save those hards and maybe just run as fast as he can and just try to defend at the very end. As we'll see him go up to about 10 or 11, depending on what tires we grab here, I think. As we see Austin coming around, it looks like he's probably going to get out ahead of Green, depending on how much Green fuels. And Green does go onto the hards. And Austin does get by first, so Green does not get to deal with him at all in any way, shape, or form to slow him down. So that, while he does get his own track to race on right now, so that's good, he doesn't get to slow down the person who's 12 seconds behind him before he'd run his hards. So that's going to be an interesting place as we see a whole ton of people come in. Liam getting done with his hard stint. Oh, Edwards. Well, thank God what I saw happen is not what happened to Edwards. That terrified me. If Edwards is watching somehow, I just saw you slam into a wall like your wheel had died, but I guess that was just some lag from my end. So Edwards is still absolutely fine on the track. Whew, that was worrisome. I was so scared. As we see them kind of starting to get their gaps, everyone's strategies, I was wondering if everyone was going to run the same strategy, different strategies, and everyone seems to be on very different strategies. Liam has gotten done with his hards, so he's not using those anymore. He's soft from here on out, so he's 6th or better as long as he makes no mistakes in his head. John, who is on his hard stint right now, needs to defend because he's trying to figure out what position he can start at when he no longer needs hards. Joker Man, softs from here on out. He's going to be climbing. Rob is running his hards now as Milden, who has already done his, one of the first guys, is now up into 9th. He's got at least, one more hard driver in front of him as well. Plus, we have and Green is also on hards. So that's going to be interesting watching him work his way back through the field as well, as Joker Man's only about 5 seconds ahead of him. We'll see if he's got the pace to close down a 5-second gap, though, as their tires are the same. Neither one of them need to run hards anymore. Joker Man is done with that, and so he is now trying to close up Original John. And John, who is on the hards, is going to probably be in the same situation we've seen a few times, where you can defend for about a corner or two, but there's just really no reason to waste any time with just going all the way across the track to defend and just do all these, it's not the last lap, and that's just going to kill your hard stint that you're trying to just get it done as quick as possible. So maybe a turn or two we see a little bit of defense, but yeah, we're seeing right here Juggerman's closing up so much gap through every single corner, so he should be able to probably get it done. Is John going defensive or just? Oh, that's a tough one to go. Oh, you don't want to be on that second line. Yeah, see that bump. We saw him go up that bump. And as soon as your car starts bouncing and you're on the outside of a car, it's just going to force you off the track. And Milden, I'm sure, just saw that gap drop a ton. And it was like, well, I don't know what happened, but that's good. Ryle about 6 seconds back, so he's bringing the time down. His tires are still looking good. His fuel is still looking fine. Green on his hard. Oh, that's why the time's going down there on different tires. Austin's coming in. He's getting rid of the softs, which, if I remember correctly, Austin hasn't run hards yet. I'll have to see. We'll see. Cripps also coming in, so Callum's coming in with his softs as well. And yet Austin is going on to hard, so he's going to fall back quite a bit from Green right here as they are on the same tire now. Liam is coming by, and he's going to end up... as Austin is right behind Edwards. He's not going to be able to keep up for too long. The tire difference, I don't think Edwards has nearly enough wear to really make any kind of a difference in the times. It's really going to be Cripps, Liam, right here on top of each other. Hards on Cripps, so Liam's got the soft, so he's going to try to get this done ASAP, just right out of the gates. I'm sure when he saw him come out of the pits, he saw it flash green and said, we're not wasting any time with you. And now 5th is where I'm at, and I'm going to close this 12-second gap up. As Austin's looking at the gap's built to a second, but he's on the softer tire, so, Liam probably, I don't know if he would have been, I know when I'm racing, it's hard to sometimes check all the pits of who's getting what tire. It's easier to keep track of who's, right next to you or is coming out when you're coming by and stuff like that. So he may not have seen that he went onto the hards and not know for, a lap or so how much time he can actually gain right now on this stint. If he can really just, get away, put it down, and really just not let Cripps come back in with those hards and slow him down anymore. That's the biggest thing you got to do, is not let someone you've already passed on a soft or on a harder tire get back past you from a mistake, because then you just have to pass them again. They're going to slow you down even more, and that's just not going to work out. Joker Man trying to pull a little pack around. He's on a mission now. We saw him start all the way up in 4th. He's fallen down, but he has been very consistent on his laps, hitting some of the fastest ones. Out here, he's got a, what, a 2:05.6 isn't going to quite be up there with a 3-minute, or a 3:05.6 is his fastest lap. So a little bit off of what Green's running right now, but Green was putting down an impressive pace in qualifying, so that's to be expected. As we see Edwards coming down the bridge. I wish I was on the helicopter. It'd be a good view for us to have right now. Why do we have the helicopters flying around if we can't put a camera on them? But Edwards closing the gap down a little bit to Ryle ahead of him. So Ryle's strategy, with the pit timing and the fact that he needs to get fuel, it's going to fall him back. But I do think he's only pitting one more time, clearly, based on how far he's been going. So he's only going to do one more pit. So he's going to fall back down but then gain back up, whereas everyone else behind him, well, they're also going to be pitting one more time. It's going to be interesting to see how well that holds up, because they're all going to pit about once. So that's probably just about as close to an actual race for position as we have, or as they have right now up there, because there's like a 5-second gap, 5-second gap, 5-second gap there. But Green is on the hard, so they're going to be bringing that down. But Ryle's going to go in and fall back. It's just going to be see where everyone's strats fall out. I think it's going to be about 2nd to 8th right now, as we've seen Milton run a pretty clean race through here, starting on those hards and then just kind of getting by everyone. So I think 8th, maybe even 9th here with John on the hards as he's keeping pace, but probably coming in right here. Wait, did he run 4 laps on hards? 307, 307, 307 pit? I think that might have, maybe I'm reading it wrong or there's a bug over there, but I feel like running a 4th lap when you only need to run the 3 might cost you a little bit more time than you can really make up. As we see Piper also, who started on the hards all the way up into 9th so far. And he's cruising down into turn 1. Is we're going to have to wait for all these strategies to kind of work out as everyone's starting to get rid of their hards. John and Rob come in, their hards are done. Conrad Racing, who also started on the hards, is probably down to about 1 or 2 laps before he's going to come in as well. Probably about 2, as he's going to come out right with John. As John falls in right behind him on the softs. Conrad on the burnt softs probably isn't going to be able to defend here for too long. We'll see. Those faster, or those lighter softs with the, how's the fuel looking on John? He fueled all the way up, so he's clearly going to the end on this set of softs. Oh, he gets it way sideways with that little bit of wear on that back left tire. It's hard to really put the pedal down as John just goes right up the inside. Lift. He didn't lift. He just stayed in it. Hey, when in doubt, man. But John does get the job done. He's up through, so 10th place and closing. Looking at that 16-second gap on Piper. But he wouldn't be able to know that Piper's tires are begging for him to come into a pit anytime now. So John is going to be able to close that gap up, if not pass Piper on his last stop, as we don't think John will be stopping again. Ben is in that happy zone of, he's going to have to stop one more time, it looks like, unless he is really going to extend that fuel. But he is pretty close to being able to go the rest of the way. So if he could make it the rest of the way, that'll be interesting. That'll close up a lot of that gap ahead of him. Jokerman cannot make it. He's under a quarter of a tank, tire screaming. Cripps sitting in a so Cripps is getting rid of his hard, so yeah, he's definitely fitting again. You would never go to the end, but he's sitting in a really good position, less than 30 seconds back, getting rid of the hards at the same time the leader is. It's gonna be tough to get all the way to the lead, but he's got a lot of positions ahead of him that are definitely up for grabs. Liam's gonna be getting his pit in soon. He's still in 5th, and everyone behind him has to catch him, so there's no one behind him who is going to leapfrog him out of any pit strategies or anything, if I recall correctly. We got Austin, who had an amazing run there in a minute. He had to get on the hards. The hards have fallen him back a little bit, but he's actually running a pretty good hard lap for his first one. 306 is about what we're seeing for most everybody here. So he's going to be sitting in a real good position when his hard stint's done, as Liam's still trying to close that down, as Green comes in to get rid of his hards, and he'll be going on to his last stint. Ryle comes in. And so everyone's coming in. This is going to be pretty much everyone's last stop. I don't think anyone would stop with that one extra lap. As we see Austin staying out on the hard. So that's his 2nd lap, if I recall. So he comes out. Ooh, and he's going to come out just ahead of Green. So potentially slowing Green down, as Green should be on softs again. And he is. Fueled about, what is that, 68%? Maybe 71% or so. So he probably knows exactly how much fuel he needs to get to the end of this. Now, the question is, did he underfuel so he can get out a little bit quicker and it didn't work out? Did he overfuel so he can really rev the engine out the whole time? We won't know until the final lap if he underfueled. But Liam's still only 7 seconds back. He's going to have to pit, so that's going to fall back from there. He's jumped up to third for the moment, but we know Ryle on his hard stint is he going to run hards all the way to the end or pit and just grab softs real quick? Maybe just run hards to the end at this point. I still don't ever think running an extra lap on hards is the best way to do it, but if the tires are screaming pit, sometimes you just got to pit. Then Edwards with a little gap to him, but he's not going to have to pit again either. Cripps is, I believe, completing his final hards lap, so he'll probably be coming in to get rid of those on the end of this lap. Jokerman, whose tires also... Jokerman and Cripps and Milden, although I think maybe even Milden as well. I don't know that he's actually going to be able to make it all the way on those tires. Those tires might start begging to come in. John's probably not going to be able to quite catch Milden unless Milden does come in, because I know John's not pitting again. If Milden does go in, though, John's going to be right there with Piper coming up right on him. We got Rob back behind him, and then Rob behind Rob. Graham, who was having a tough time at the very start of the race, fell all the way back, has now worked his way back up into 13th, so starting to get some consistency with that Viper. I mean, salutes to you. I can't drive it. I love it, though. It's one of my favorite cars. I would drive it in real life every day. Rossi in the Porsche, coming around in 14th. At the back, Conrad Racing, who we can see they are all on their final stints. Well, Conrad Racing's got a good chance to close this 7-second gap down. He's got fresh tires, full fuel. Meanwhile, Rossi, half fuel, pretty red tires. I could see that 7-second gap closing. As we got the gap between Rossi and Graham also going to close, because Graham's running his hards here at the end. Graham's going to go defensive on hards while Rossi's attacking on softs. The softs of Rob are going to pull away from them most likely. And we see right here, Rob is probably going to have to maybe even pit, or he is right on the edge, but his tires don't look like they want to go 4 more laps. As you know, I'm starting to actually think, as I'm looking at all this, that there are maybe a few more people than I thought at the beginning who are going to be pitting. I mean, clearly Jokerman is. His tank doesn't look like it wants to make it to the end of this lap, let alone the end of the race. So Jokerman's definitely coming in, but obviously Cripps is coming in here. These will be their final stops, but I'm wondering, is Ryle gonna... I guess since he's on hards, the 4 laps isn't too tough. Ooh, we see Edwards think about coming down, but then say, nah, I'm good. He was just grabbing some slip. It's Edwards, so I wonder, is he gonna be able to make the 12th, the 13th, the 14th lap? 3 more laps, half a tank. It's going to be close. I think he's probably got just about enough. I think he probably was really happy to see that many people jump in for another pit, because he may have just gone, well, I'm not pitting again, so see y'all. Now I just got to worry about Ryle and hope he has to pit, and then it just turns out Ryle doesn't, but he's on the harder tire, so he's not going to close that gap either. So it would be impressive to average a 4-second a lap faster lap than Green right now, who's been just really showing how to show this. I mean, so he was just drifting. I think he was just drifting to show off there. Really showing how to fly in this McLaren, as he has a 12-second gap so far. Little over 2.5 laps to go. And I can't imagine that he just really has much to do here other than just keep it consistent. He looks like he's got the fuel to make it. It looks like his tires will be screaming at the end, but they'll make it. But he's done a fantastic job just getting away. As we see Edwards with that 2-second gap, it should continue to grow there, as it really should be Austin closing the gap up on Ryle here, as they both have the exact same fuel, the exact same tires, except one's hard, one's soft. Like, so they pit together. He's just got the better tire. So, I mean, when it comes to Ryle, he's going to have to really focus on getting the most out of these hards, not overdriving them, not going off the track, because the gap's already going to close. You're already losing time. You just can't lose all that extra time, and then we're going to get to see if you can actually defend on hards, because it hasn't worked all race. Everyone who's attacked on softs, there's just nothing the hard driver can do. As we see Liam, and he's settled into a solid 5th position. 7-second gap up ahead of him might be tough to close up here over the last few laps, but it's going to be a solid 5th at that, because he does have a 6-second gap back to Colin Cripps, who is got a solid gap back to Milden, who worked basically through half the field so far, but he has not done that yet because Joker has caught up to him. They're on the same tires. They're on the same fuel. So they're going to be battling for a top 8 right here. As John has settled into 9th, but he's under pressure by Piper, battling for no one wants 10th. You want 9th. 9th is top 9. 10th is just in the top 10. so he is all over the back of him. It's pretty decent gap back to Rob. Rossi's got a gap between him. It looks like Rob might be able to close up Rossi as Conrad is all over Rob as well. So Conrad's going to be battling here in the next 2 laps. You got this penultimate lap coming up, and then you've got the actual final lap. And so you don't have to do anything yet. Oh, as we see Conrad get very wide coming out of there. All that work, and now you have to do it again, and got less time than you did a second ago. That can be tough. All right, Riles a second ahead of Austin here. Those hards and softs, I mean, it's gonna get closed up. I don't know how he's gonna defend with hard tires for an entire penultimate lap and the entire 14th final lap. It's just, I don't see how this is going to work out. He's going to have to do something like really spectacular, because 1.5 seconds over a 3-minute lap, and you got 2 of those. I mean, it's been 1 corner and it's a half a second already. And I mean, you can just see here how hard he's pushing. He just wants to get this done and by, because in GT Sport, he can't actually see the gap to Edwards. He can see the map, and he's not that far ahead. Like, we can look here and see that it's 6 seconds. You can't do it in 1 lap. I mean, you could if he makes a mistake. But the person you have to race and battle at the current time is Ryle. And you can just see how hard he's pushing to get this done, as he is all the way up on him now, with an entire lap and a half, if not more, to go than that. And he's already going for the move. I mean, if Ryle lets him through, if he gets by, Ryle's not going to be able to hold on to a podium position, as he does stay defensive. Oh, as they get a little sideways, he's keeping the inside, giving room. I think those softs are going to end up overtaking him. It looks like, as they're going side by side into it. Oh, how are you making these hards defend like this? Oh, as he gets a little dirt on him, that's never good. But, I mean, Ryle's still in full defense mode, as we see Austin trying to keep it up the inside. I think that's going to be tough now that he's moved all the way out the outside, and he goes up and through, and Ryle's in the back, and it's just, I don't know how you battle back. You got the top speed, but it's just going to be so hard to keep it under braking. He's trying. He's got the top speed on the BMW, but under braking, he actually just yeets it, and it works. That was impressive. On the hard tire, just, who needs brakes? I'll just get the car in front of you, and if I can make it stick back into the podium. It looked like he was going to lose it and not be able to get it back, but in a full defense here, as we see there's battles back behind as well, so we will check on them in just a second. But let's see what can happen with these hards as they go over the bridge. Can Austin look up the inside, or is he going to stay defensive? It's looking like he's going to stay defensive up the right side. It's Austin staying right on the back of him. He's going to force him around the outside, trying to close the track up on him. He's going for a switchback. It looked like he widened it out. He is going for the switchback. Oh, as they're going side by side. It's such a tough corner. Don't hit a wall. Oh, it was real tight. I don't think he's going to have the same kind of straight, though, to catch back up like he did last time. Last time he was really able to use that Aston Martin straight line speed where he got past and he could just pass it right back using speed. But now they're in a traction zone, braking zone, and it's like, I think that gap's probably going to get a little too big before, then they get in this straight, and I don't think the Aston's really going to be able to ever close that gap right back up on those hard tires without a mistake here from the BMW, because the BMW is just going to keep pulling away. It's on the softer tire. The final lap, he's got plenty of fuel. They both have plenty of fuel. As a matter of fact, they both probably could have taken even a little bit less, maybe. They're probably about dead on, though. As we see him already losing the slip, and Liam 4 seconds back, that's a rough place to be. You can see him on the hard tire, but to say it's a 4-second difference, it is a 4-second difference. His 3:07 last lap, and Liam ran a 3:02. That is a 5-second difference. You subtract the difference, he actually could close 4 seconds over this 3-minute lap here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. As Green with a solid lead over Edwards in second. We did see Austin get on by Ryle, as Ryle's probably not going to be able to close that back up, but Liam is going to try to close up for fourth. That would be an impressive climb, as Cripps with a decent gap, trying to keep Milden away, who is still ahead of Joker. Joker, man, all over the back of Milden. We got to remember to come check and see how Liam's doing in just a second, see if he's closed that gap down further. But this is a battle for 7th and 8th right here, as Milden has worked his way all the way up to 7th. He definitely doesn't want to let Joker, man, get back by. Piper's fallen back enough. He doesn't really have anyone currently pressuring him. Doesn't look like anyone else is under too much pressure. I mean, they are within mistake ranges here, but not within immediate passing ranges. So let's go see if Joker can get on by Milden or if Milden's going to be able to defend. They are on the same tire. So, oh, as Milden gets away, Ron gets a little bit into Joker. Oh, that's tough. Your car starts sliding. You're doing everything you can. It's last lap. You want to keep it together. That little nick on Joker, man. Joker wasn't lifting either. He was still trying to get on by as quick as possible. As we can see, little beat up GTR coming by. But he gets on by, and it's going to be tough making that second and a half back up after you lost all that pace. Your tires got dirty for a turn, so it's going to be tough as we see Liam within a second and a half with 1, 2, 3, 4, about 7 turns to go. Ooh, rail getting a little wide. That's going to close it down even, well, not even more. It looks like Liam also didn't do amazing out of that corner either. His tires are not as good as those hards, but they're coming across the bridge. Is he going to be able to close the gap? Wrong person. Oh, the gap's still going up, so it's going to be tough to see. Behind, it looks like they're still a little gapped out, but I don't know if those softs are still going to be able to run something like a 302. As we see, this is a really fast traction zone. This would definitely be one of the corners that you would think the BMW would make up a little bit of time if they have to lift at all through here, which they don't. Yeah, you'd think just because you're having to lift and get traction, you'd definitely gain some time on an Aston Martin, as we do see it come down a little bit, but probably not enough with 1 turn to go. He's gotten it down to 1.4, 1.3. I mean, you would have to have the literal yeet turn of a lifetime to be able to close this. He's going to need to pray that Ryle runs way wide, brakes way late, and that doesn't happen. He takes it very cautiously, very safe. He'll get it close, but it's not going to be quite neck and neck, as he is right behind him for a 5th, as we do see Green in 1st, Edwards with a fantastic 2nd, Austin in 3rd, Riles in 3rd, in 4th, Liam coming across in a amazing 5th as he battled all through the race. And then we got Cripps, who had an amazing race as well, battling up, down. He's been just about everywhere in 6th. Joker Man, who's qualified high, fell down, battled back up. Milden with the hard strategy in 8th. Joker Man in 7th. Milden in 8th. Piper coming around. He has a decent gap between him and John, so he's looking to solidify his top 10. Oh, is he going to catch a little bit of wall? But he gets it under control. It's not enough wall to let John catch back, because he also wanted to catch just a little bit of wall for his 10th place. Rob going to fall just outside the top 10 in that GTR. And then we have Rob and Graham all over each other in the final corner, but it looks like Graham's going to be just a little bit back of Rob, who's going to go through for 12th. Graham battling up to 13th. I saw you back in 15th at one point, so fantastic little in there. Conrad coming across in 14th, and then we have Rossi out of fuel. Took me a second. I was like, those tires are super dead. Rossi is out of fuel with super dead tires. Strategy didn't quite work out. We have all been there. We've all had that moment. The fuel runs out. The time remaining must count down. I never make the finish line in a minute. 50 miles an hour, it's going to be close. He might make the time remaining. No, he's not got a chance. Actually, there's no chance. So, again, we had Green, who just really pretty much got that qualifying time down and saw the gap, and then just consistency. But even over, almost, 45 minutes, only able to really gap out about 15 seconds to Edwards, who had a fantastic race, but a few contacts, a few issues here and there, and he kind of fell back a little bit, had to battle back through the field. Hard stint went pretty well, got him back up there, and ends up with a solid podium position in 2nd place. And then a fantastic BMW drive from here, from Austin here in the feature race. Battling back and forth, had the lead for a minute, fell back, and ended up in the 3rd place on podium. Then Ryle and Liam make up the top 5, with Cripps, Jokerman, Milden, Piper, and John finishing out the top 10. And Rossi is going to be so close. But close isn't counting, because we're racing, not playing hand grenades. Almost made it. I mean, the finish line was right there. Could almost start a new race from where you are. But that is the end of the feature race. Congratulations to Green. Continuing from his championship season last year, and just going pole position, fastest lap, and a clean race to top it off with the first race of the first and feature race, round 1 of the SBR GT3 season 11. So this will be followed by the sprint race, round 2. That will be following shortly after this. Reverse grid based on previous race. I did not know that, everyone. That is the coolest feature ever for the reverse grid. I am so excited to see them run this backwards. It's a 5-lap final. There are no tire rules here. They do not have to run hards for 3s. They could run mediums. They could just run softs and pit. I wouldn't expect to see anyone put that terrible hard tire on. I would expect everyone to stick to softs. Maybe we see someone sneak a medium out to, you know, just run it as a one-stop, but you'd have to have one of the cars that really can't. I almost entered the race. I was literally going to go over there. Spectate. As we see everyone starting to enter, ready up. So they'll be in the reverse grids. That means Rossi, who we saw run out of fuel in the last race, will be starting in first. Where Green, who we saw dominate, clean race. Yeah, clean race because he almost raced no one for a lot of it. He had a couple of battles working through there when he went in for pits and things like that, you know. But he did very dominantly run his positions. Well, now he starts at the back with the entire field who just got beat by him in front of him. So I don't know if they race like I do, but if someone just beat me, gets reverse grid behind me, I mean, I'll go across the whole track defensively to try to make sure they don't beat me again. So he's definitely going to be in for a fun race, trying to work from the very back of the field all the way back through. As we saw a lot of pace from everybody at the back of the pack as well. Some people just got in incidents and fell back, but they all had very good pace. So, and with only 5 laps, you don't have time to mess around racing some people. You got to get through the pack fast if you're trying to work up. So I expect to see some first lap shenanigans. Someone maybe trying to go 0 to hero lap 1, and you know, you got to remember that you can't win the race in the first lap. But I mean, that's just not true. You absolutely can win a race in the first lap. So I don't know why anybody says that. That is not a true statement. You can absolutely win a race. If you're in 20th or 25th or something, and you passed 14 people on the first lap and end up winning, it was because of your first lap. Like, it had nothing to do with everything. Everything else can be great. You passed 15 people on the first lap. You passed 22 people on the first lap. So it'll be interesting to see how hard everyone's going to go. We saw in the feature race they were willing to go 3, 4, 5 wide, so it will be interesting to see what they're able to do. We will give them a few minutes to get everything set up and ready while we just kind of watch everyone going around the track that are on the track. As some people are clearly needing a warm up, little drift action. That is a clean looking Nissan right there. No, you. I like it. Also a very clean. I can't get a design like that. How did you make it so clean? Wow, that is so good looking. I love this McLaren. It looks real good. Almost looks like a Ferrari. I had to look like 4, 5, 6 times at it. I was like, wait, what is going on with this setup? Because I think a buddy of mine runs a Ferrari with a similar livery. We never actually get to see Liam's livery. We only ever get to see his front right tire during these situations because he's always hanging out in the pit. So it looks just about as good as Rossi's does. That Bridgestone tire versus, oh, well, the Bridgestone wins. We all know that. We don't even need to announce that tire's name. Oh, well, Michelin. There you go. Graham's got the good tires. So, yeah, we'll just wait a few minutes for everyone to get underway. Starting in 1 minute. So no qualifying for this. It'll just be a straight reverse grid. So it's going to be interesting. Reverse grids are always so fun. I'm a big fan of reverse grids. It just really always leads to mayhem. Everyone's just battling back and forth. And when it's a shorter race, when you got the short, 5 laps, so we're looking at about 15-minute race roughly. I'm just super excited and pumped. I hope everybody else is half as excited as I am just to see I mean, I'm never rooting for murder, but it just tends to happen in racing, and I'm excited to see what happens. And then that's what reverse grids are for. So it's going to be nice to see what we can do. You can also see some really cool racing tricks when you have different speed people around each other as well. Like when you have someone who knows what they're doing, being able to set stuff up. It's not the best track for it. A little bit around section 2 and 3, you can probably get some setups, but a lot of it's just try to go faster through the corners because they're very high-speed corners like we see Ryle going through right here. And for, you know, those who are like Ryle and Conrad, Joker Man, I will have your names down by next week as well, and you can join into the group of people who I've learned their names of. I'm terrible at it, though. It takes me 2, possibly 3 weeks. You can ask a few people. Heck, I have announced what I believe is Austin's races for maybe like 8 or 9, and now I'm randomly panicking if I have the right name or not. So it could be anyone. As we see Rossi taking the pole. Preliminary pole should be worth at least 2 points, I would say. A pole of any race, regardless of how you get there. Running out of fuel or not. But he is starting on pole. We are seeing a rolling start from the GT Sports system, so even more things to put the leader further back. Standing start, there's a lot of things you can do to get caught up. But when you're in a rolling start, that is literally, he is back here, and the leader is up here. He hasn't even come around the corner, so that is a very far way back. As we see cars coming around the corner, he's not even one of them, so giving Rossi the best advantage possible with Conrad up here, as they all, and plus it's also going to lead to them not being able to go 7 wide through turn 1 as they start to filter in. Is Rossi going to be going defensive right off the bat? Is Conrad going to be going for the move right off the bat? He is, might as well. Closing the door. Graham sitting right there in that Viper, just waiting to be opportunistic. Oh, getting a little wide as it might be Rob who's opportunistic on Graham. And oh, someone just, I'm going to assume that was lag, right? Did we not just see someone just drive into a wall again? Whew, I thought someone died back there. Thank goodness. Whew, look at Rob working and just knifing up into the top 3 already closing that gap down on Rossi. We got Milden sitting in the middle of the field. We got John Piper, Milden, Jokerman. They were racing all last race, and now somehow they've all found themselves grouped up again, it seems like. Liam, of course, is in there. If you're a BMW, you got to push your way around a little bit. You got to just remember the BMW model. Like, I'm big, my corner. How it always goes. I love racing the BMWs. We see Ryle sitting here in that Aston. Little different. You get that oversteer when you're going through it. You know, definitely likes to have its own little track space. It can get a little claustrophobic when you're racing an Aston around all these tight corners like that. But at the same time, it has so much power. It's a fun car to drive. If you've never driven it, I highly recommend it. As we see Edwards, Austin, and Green. Look like I'm seeing Green trying to get a move done right off the bat. It's tough because you're with all the faster drivers right now who you were just battling with. But if you can get by the fastest of them, that is a good start as Edwards lets him by and falls back in as they can just follow each other through. Don't have to battle yet. As we start to see them breaking out 2-3 wide, as they're starting to catch up, as, oh, Milton just gets the door closed on Joker, who's just closing the door on Graham. And it looked like Milton may have been a little opportunistic there with all those doors closing to just kind of hold his line and get through there. As, oh, John, hold it. Yeah, buddy, that's what I'm talking about. We don't get to move to you because that's how this camera works. Oh, I don't think he held it. It's way off. Oh, wait, maybe he did. I don't know. He did. He's still good. It looked like he died. Way to go. I couldn't find him. He was in the track somewhere. He was still in the race. Oh, as we see this whole group starting to bundle up right here, which is definitely giving everyone ahead a little bit of a gap, as Green through the first lap has only made up the 1 position, and it's not even on the person he originally passed, it's on someone else. So Edwards has gotten back past him as they're just testing alternate routes down here in rolling start formation. How long do you want to sit like that? They're probably going to single it out, as it looks like they just forced Green out on the left all by himself as they all slipstream with each other and don't let him in. That's mean, guys. Oh, Joker Man looking for the move on Milton. It looks like he gets it done before the corner. He's not going to be able to move all the way back over there. Didn't get it done that quick, so that's going to just cost him a little bit. So Milton might get the exit. Not quite. Falling back in line. 4 laps to go. No reason to do anything crazy right now. There will be plenty of stuff happening as Conrad is currently in the lead of the race with a 1.5 second gap back to Rob, who has Rob behind Rob. Rob is all over Rob right now. We'll say Groot is being battled by Rob, so we know which one I'm talking about. Oh, as Groot gives up the defense, letting Rob up the inside. Is Rob Adams going to make it stick? Oh, Groot, that is really wide. This is Gran Turismo, not Dirt Rally. Did he get it done? Oh, he's doing the Dirt Rally road again. Oh, he's good, though. He just was keeping his pace up. But I think that's probably helped Piper and Jokerman and everyone behind a lot, as they were not battling quick and easy. They were going back and forth, side by side, as Jokerman is all over Piper. Piper all over Adam, or Rob. And Rob is gone. Oh, Piper's trying to make the move. Is he going to get it stuck? Rob's separating away even further from him as they continue to battle. As this whole group is stopped up. We still see Liam back in 8th, 9th, 10th. Everyone just right behind him. Can't even see who they are yet. Rossi, who started the race at the start, has fallen back into 9th, but he is still putting up one hell of a battle to stay up there. One heck of a battle. Crips is just in a, I mean, I don't even, where do you go? He's trying to find anywhere. There's just people everywhere. Liam is, I can't even announce everything that's happening as it's all going crazy. People are spinning, they're trying to go wide. Oh, Crip, they're 3 wide. Liam's getting shoved way off the track. Oh, that was a lot of contact as they tried to go 3 or 4 wide through an area. As we see, they are not done yet. As, oh, Crips gets pushed wide. Oh, whoa, it looked like Edwards was going wide too, but that didn't look like a push. That looked like just a missed brake zone, but he caught it. It was just going quick, actually. As Conrad is still leading the race. We see Milton, who looked like he'd gotten some trouble. He's gotten his stuff under control. He's still in the top 5. Let's see what's happened to everyone who is having a little bit more issues. Ryle up into 6th, Groot 7th. Rossi's moved up a position. Green halfway through the field, so he's got to be feeling good about where he is. Austin just chilling with Green, saying, yeah, let's keep doing this, buddy. You go inside, I go inside. So he's definitely in a good spot. John trying to keep pace with it. Edwards probably not liking that he's losing the gap between them. He probably wants to get through John as quick as possible, but ooh, little tough there. Then we got Cripps and Liam, who both had a little incident with the bridge. The bridge is not fair at all times. It does not treat everybody equally, so they both got sent to the back of the pack. And then Graham, who's also just, I mean, it's a Viper. I haven't seen exactly what happened, but, I mean, I believe in the Viper. It's probably the Viper. As Liam and Groot both coming in to get rid of those softs, figuring since they've had an issue anyways, probably burn their tires up, might as well go ahead and move on. As Conrad is kind of starting to separate even a little bit more as the battle is continuing on. Green trying to catch up to Ryle. Spesh getting separated by Rossi, though, so that's probably not what he wants. And that's going to mean Edwards gets separated potentially by 2 cars. So Edwards, oh, which would look like he may have gone very sideways, which he did, but it, you know, caught it. Cripps looking to get the inside, a little contact. Cripps is like, don't worry, I got you. Now fall back behind me. As they're starting the lineup, I wonder if everybody is planning on having a pit stop. I don't think anyone else is going to be coming to pit. I wonder why they came in. Maybe their tires just got really burnt. Maybe they will. Maybe they're trying to trick everybody else into pitting. Like, hey, maybe no one knows what to do, so if we pit, maybe they'll pit. Or maybe they just will. Maybe everyone does have to pit, and I am overestimating the tires. As we do see Conrad with a 2.7 second gap in first. He's got to be feeling good. They're halfway through the race. He's halfway through his fuel. I can see why they might need to pit. They might need to splash it. They might need to splash. As we see Rob, who is chilling in second with a decent gap back. Piper trying to close that gap down. And then we do see the whole pack of, the whole group of everyone. Green trying to hunt the group down as he's back there as Jokerman looking for Piper. Probably not here, just fall in line, as it did look like Ryle was looking at Milden for a second, but thought better of it. And Green probably just like, you guys can keep doing this and I'll just keep passing as you guys do this. Oh, everyone getting a little bit. See, that's the kind of corner we saw Milden spin right there. The Lexus kind of suffers from it too. Those corners like that, it can really start to slide. And it seems like this corner with the little bump either really settles it down or is going to send it really out of control. And then we just have this whole crew of people. Conrad has gotten a decent little separation. We'll have to see if he can make it all the way. The tires will make it all the way. Rob, not probably as far away as he would like to be. That's not going to help that gap get any bigger, though, as he loses a little bit of that spin. That, like I said, the GTR is happy. When you push the pedal down and say go, it is excited to do this, and it wants to do it immediately. So we got to be careful with the pedal. I can't wait to drive that. I get to drive that this week, and it is a very fun car to drive. I enjoy it a lot. So is the Aston, as we see Piper and Jokerman, Milden all grouped up coming down here with about, what are we coming up on 2 laps to go? This will be the penultimate lap as they come down to the last one, as Jokerman is all over Piper. Is he going to look? Oh, he got some tires off. That is not... Oh, as Milden takes advantage of it, goes up the inside. We do see Rob come in, so I think people are probably expecting to do at least one pit stop. But I don't know why you would stay out another lap if you were. I don't think they are. Like, you would come in at the halfway mark. So I think these people are probably going to say, no, we're going to the end, as we see Joker, Milden, Ryle, and Green all just running side by side, looking for anywhere to go, who to draft off of, who to block. But oh, they're going to go 3 wide into the 3rd corner? No, they all back out and line up. But that's going to mean Green is going to try to get advantageous on Joker, man. Joker able to get the, I don't know how you caught that and kept your speed up there, but nice job. As we see them starting to line up looking for anywhere to go, they've been bumping and looking for moves a lot, but no one seems to be moving, as Milden has somehow found himself sitting in the podium. Piper moving through on the podium as well, getting hunted down by Milden. I am sure Conrad is having a blast with the fact that I just said everyone behind him is battling, and he's got his own race to run. So they are going to have to not battle too much if they want to try to close 4 seconds in 1 lap. But it doesn't look like they're too worried about that. It looks like they're mostly worried about catching up Piper right now and trying to make him come into this battle as well. Oh, Milden trying to push it right to the end. We see Green right behind him, and the McLaren doing the exact same thing. Just right on him as they run the exact same line. Someone's flashing lights. They're saying, hey, we're coming through. Oh, as they move off trying to break slipstream, but everybody follows down. Green, first one to break out, tries to get a little bit of a slingshot. Doesn't look like he's going to have quite enough. Backs it back in. 1 more lap to go. Don't have to do it at that corner, as Milden gets it wrong, but keeps it clean. He ends up getting past. He's going to have to get back in, head down, and go, as he's trying to battle back immediately with dirty tires. Yeah, that's tough. That's going to be tough. Oh, whew, he catches it, though. Yeah, I never want to battle after I go off, because that's immediate dirty tires. As we see Ryle now finding himself in 3rd. Green already up into 4th, but Conrad, 1 lap to go, 3-second gap. He's got to be feeling good because Ryle has Piper under pressure. Ryle's trying to make a move on Piper. Is Piper going to let him do it? No, he's going to close it off? Yeah, he closes it off. As that gap is coming down to Conrad, we see his tires, but no one's tires are doing good, so don't worry about anyone's tires behind you. Just focus on your lap. 2.7 seconds, you can do this. You've got this. Looking clean in the Supra, out in front. Piper, Ryle, Green are bumper to bumper coming through. Now the real question is, does Piper start going defensive anytime soon? Does he start costing his lap time and his chance to close down Conrad to defend his 2nd place? Because he knows that if he lets these people through, he could be in 4th before he knows it. As Ryle's going up the inside, he's going for the move. He does not defend it. He lets Ryle through. He's going, oh, it's a cutback. He's up side by side with him. It is a cutback, as we see everyone else lining up right behind him for a huge battle, as well as Conrad is seeing that gap come down. That cannot be a good place to be, but he is also seeing him battle. So 1 lap for Conrad to get this win. If he can just keep it together, hit your lines, don't even look at the time. There is no point looking at the time as Green makes the move on Ryle. Green is up into 3rd. He is all over the back of Piper. Is Piper going to start going defensive now? Piper moves over a little bit, like half defensive. As Ryle's looking to make a move, he's going to go up the side, and no, is he going to let Green go on the inside? Oh, he's going to let him by. No, he keeps it defensive, hits that apex, and ooh, Green is getting it super wide. And somehow they're still closing the gap on Conrad. Don't watch the gap, just go. Oh, we see Ryle pushing it up the inside of Green as Green gets it a little bit wrong as Jokerman's making the move as well as Rob's getting aggressive about that. I think my voice just cracked at 36. That is impressive. Oh, that was not the corner that Green wanted. He just had a chance to go to 1st and fell all the way back into 6th, maybe 7th. Milton's not even that far back as he's trying to battle back on him as well, as Rob should be able to win this side-by-side battle. They're not going to do... Okay, I thought they were about to go 3 wide there. But the McLaren, you know, it's got speed too, so it looks like... Oh, he ends up giving it up as he ends up falling back, so Conrad is getting a bigger gap as we see Ryle all over the back of Piper. Piper just trying to fend for his second place now, no longer having to worry about Green being part of the battle anymore. Rob already looked like he was going defensive down that line as Ryle's looking inside. Piper doesn't believe in going defensive first, so it's gonna... Oh, it's because he wants the left line. He is defensive already. Ah, he was already defensive. Oh, they're both running it really wide. I thought Piper was letting him through, but no, he was already defensive. Oh, as we get a little drift, that's just showing off for the cameras right now. Everybody's showing off, as they are just front to tail, and Conrad has to be ecstatic seeing them still battling. No mistakes, hit your brakes, hit your throttles, no need to spin out. You've got it. Look at that gap behind you, buddy, as they are all over each other, second to probably 14th. Oh, Ryle's looking at the inside. Piper did not go defensive there. That might be defensive. He does get this inside for here, but we have seen this pass work a few times today. And everyone's going to try to get in that slipstream. This Piper's literally pushing Rob out of it. He's like, no, mine. But Rob's now on the inside. He might get second. He's going to double pass. He is in second. Is he able to close the door off on the end of the corner? Oh, no one's able to come back as we see Piper coming back at him. He is sideways. Everybody just drifted in tandem. As where has Green come from? Green has a chance for second place at the end of this. Somehow everybody's involved in this race, and Conrad is going around to take the first win. Probably of his career. I have no idea. We'll pretend it is. It's definitely not the first win of today because this has already been one, but Conrad, starting in second, ends up battling all the way up, takes the win. Rob comes through for second. Piper in third. Oh, that finished a lot of people really fast. Ryle in fourth. Green somehow gets up to fifth after dropping back to eighth, I think. Jokerman in sixth. Milton in seventh. Austin in eighth. Liam in ninth. Cripps in 10th. I've run out of breath. Hold on, I'm trying to breathe at the same time. That went way too fast to go through all of those. That was way too intense. Whew. What a race. Congratulations, Conrad. Taking the win of the sprint race. Just getting out in front and letting everyone else battle. Well, thank you, everyone. Those races were fantastic. I am so glad you guys were able to make it to the SBR GT3 Season 11. Rounds 1 and 2 here at St. Croix, so it's St. Croix. Lobby A. Absolutely fantastic time. If you enjoyed it here, make sure you hit a like on the video and check us out. We will be back next Thursday at a track that I don't know. I should know every single time. It will always be at a track. It's one of the tracks on GT Sport, and it will be as fantastic as this one. So, thank you all, and good night.